Yes, I think the American President Trump was obviously presented a very sobering message of the challenges the U.S. will be going through in the next few weeks. We in Thailand have been very pleased to see from the procedures and policies put into place that so far there looks to be a flattening of the curve in Thailand. The number of infections have maintained at around the 100 to 150 rate per day over the last week, which is an encouraging sign, but we all need to remain vigilant. Obviously, the most important thing that we in the U.S. and the government here in Thailand has been focusing on is social distancing, staying at home, as today myself and Khun are here obviously not in the studio, but at home. And that's very important. The more we can stay at home, the more we can keep ourselves at least 6 feet away from everybody else, the more we can wash our hands and avoid touching our face, the better everyone will be. We in the U.S. Embassy have been focusing for over 2 weeks now on extreme teleworking, having no more than 10% of our staff in the office at any one point in time, consistent with the Royal Thai government's plan to decrease activity on the streets and in general by 90%. And I think those policies look to be having a positive effect.
Ambassador, as an American, you must also be shocked by the dire warning from the President about the potential of such a large number of deaths if the stay-at-home or the social distancing practice is not strictly enforced. So what was your reaction when you heard the message from the President?
No, I've been watching the presidential daily briefs every day. I find them crucially important. And the one this morning, Thailand time, was obviously particularly sobering and obviously really shows the importance of the message that we all need to do everything that we can do to minimize the impact of the virus. I think otherwise, many of the messages from the daily brief have really shown, have given me great optimism, quite honestly, that when you take the American economic system and free enterprise, ingenuity, and dedication, when fully unleashed to try to vanquish the virus, we will succeed. I think what we've seen in the last couple of days is the U.S. now has tested over 1 million people, more than any other country in the world. We're now at a rate where we're testing more than 100,000 people per day. We have 20 new approved methods of testing, including one from Abbott Laboratories that can do a positive test in as little as 5 minutes. We have 10 companies producing ventilators, including Ford and GM and others. And the hope is that not only will we satisfy the need for all of these products in the U.S., but we will be able to satisfy the need globally as the virus continues to spread throughout the world.
Ambassador, America now is being referred to as an epicenter of the pandemic. Of course, it's a very unenviable the title, but I'm sure that a lot of American people must be asking themselves why such an advanced and prosperous country could have come to this. What you have an answer for this if you were asked a question?
It's a very good question, Khun. I think there's not a perfect answer to that, but I do think one of the challenges that we've discovered is that the world did not have sufficient information early on as to the virulency and the ease of transmission of the virus, and is something that caught people unprepared. And perhaps if there had been greater transparency at the source of the virus in Wuhan and Hubei originally, we would have had greater intelligence that would have allowed us to better prepare for this situation.
Ambassador, 2 weeks ago, you posted a video clip on the social media addressing American people living in Thailand or on tour in Thailand who may need help or advice from the embassy. What has been the response from these people so far?
The response has been excellent, and the response divides into 2 different areas. We obviously have a very large number of Americans who make Thailand their home, and they will stay here and are prepared to stay here. We have other Americans who are tourists in this country. We have encouraged them and continue to encourage them that if they do not wish to stay in Thailand for the long term, that now is a good time to make their way back to America. now that there are commercial flights available. But we at the U.S. Embassy stand ready, obviously, to assist all Americans in Thailand. The health and safety of Americans in Thailand is my top priority, and we will continue to be available to assist Americans with emergency issues as they arise during these challenges.
Do you see how the U.S. and China can work together in a global leadership role to fight against the virus despite their differences or specs that they may have recently?
I think it is very important during this crisis for all countries and every person to do all that they can. I do believe that China bears unique responsibility to contribute to the health crisis around the world. I think with the period in December and January in Wuhan, where even the Chinese own procedures that they developed during SARS had not been implemented and mistakes were made, it's important to understand what those mistakes were so that we can avoid them in the future. But most importantly, every country needs to do the most that they can to help humanity at this point in time.